What's up? It's Mark back on the Sage of Soccer channel. Today I'm going to be talking about the Friday and Saturday games of Premier League Match Week 10. If you want to skip to a particular game, timestamps are in the description. So to start things off, I want to talk about Leeds against Everton, probably the best game of the last few days, and it's a really interesting game. I want to start with Everton. A couple of positives right out of the way. Dominic Calvert-Lewin, he didn't get on the score sheet today as Everton lost 1-0 to Leeds. But you could really see a lot of positives in his game. His hold-up play is really good. He had a really nice pass to Decore that probably should have been scored by Meslier and Leeds. Got a great save. We'll get back to Meslier. But, just a really nice game by him. Shows that he's a really complete forward. He's not just a goal scorer. So nice performance by him. Thought that Allen and Decore were playing well in the midfield, both defensively and bringing the ball forward. I mentioned Decore had a chance. James Rodriguez was looking good, and Richarlison, I don't think he's had the best performances this year for Everton, but you can tell when he was out of the team that they were really missing him. So I feel like he had another decent performance today. So what I want to talk about Everton and the downside is I think their depth is the main real problem with them. Because today they had some injuries and it forced Iwobi, Andre Gomes, and Fabian Delph came on, and it clearly made them worse. Alex Iwobi, he had a half-decent moment last week, but he's not good enough for a team like Everton, for a team competing to Europe. Probably not good enough for the Premier League in general, but Andre Gomes, I think we know that he can be quality, but whenever he was on the ball today, he looked scared. He looked like he just tried to get off it as soon as possible, and he was making mistakes. And Fabian Delph, he's I don't want to insult him too much, because he was a solid player, and he is past his prime, but he's not good enough anymore. And I was running through this team, and you look at it, and it's like, okay, so who's good on this team? Calvert-Lewin, James, Richarlison, Allen and Decore, Coleman, Digne, Luka Din, who was missing today too, which was probably a big miss for them because, as I mentioned in the preview for Leeds, they're defending out of set pieces and balls into the box in general are kind of poor, and Luka Digne definitely would have brought that. But back to the point, and Keane and Mina, maybe Godfrey and Holgate. I haven't got to see too much of them this year, but not them yet. And Pickford, he's been playing well. He does get a lot of slack, but I think he's a good keeper. So you've got 10 players on this Everton team that are good. Everyone else is not good enough to be competing for Europe. So when they get injuries, this team falls apart. And, man, it sucks because when they field their top 10 and maybe an Andre Gomes, maybe a Sigurdsson, maybe even a Iwobi, they look good. They look like a great team competing for Europe, probably even Champions League, but once their depth shows up, it hurts, and that's something that you can't have in this league because when you look at a team like Leicester, they're dealing with a lot of injuries. They're playing well. Liverpool, they're dealing with injuries. Well, they didn't do great today, but, they can do it. They can do well. So that's just something I wanted to talk about with Everton. You had a couple players play well, a couple play bad, but just, depth is not good enough. Now on to Leeds, and a really decent performance by Leeds. I mentioned the Meslier, he was making some really nice saves. Just a great performance by him. Definitely stopped a couple of surefire goals from going in. Rafinha had a really nice game. He had the goal, it was a really nice one. He had a great run as well. He had a great run that Harrison should have finished off. He was playing well. I thought the midfield was doing pretty good. Dallas, he was a bit iffy. Him and Alioski didn't have the best chemistry going up, but Klitsch and Calvin Phillips, another decent performance by them. And Bamford really needs to get off the mark, but overall, really decent performance by Leeds. It was a real back-and-forth game, but hey, they were able to come up with a goal, and this is huge for Leeds because you know that they're a team that has been struggling to really cap off their performances lately. So them being able to get a goal and just win the game, great for them. Man of the match for this game, I think Rafinha. Aside from the goal, he had a couple great runs. He's definitely the most dangerous player on the pitch for Leeds. Next game I want to talk about is West Brom beating Sheffield United 1-0. So just getting West Brom out of the way, really decent performance by them. Probably the best they've looked all year. Gallagher got a goal off of a corner, And man, West Brom was really threatening with corners today. I'm surprised that they only got the one goal off of it. But Gallagher got it. It was off like a half volley, a really decent shot. You see players scuff those all the time. He got it down. Great job by him. Mateus Pereira was looking really good. He was making a lot of creative passes. Really good vet and assist in there as well. Callum Robinson looking pretty good against this old team. Couldn't get any like real shots on goal off, but he was playing pretty well. And yeah, I think that's everybody I wanted to mention. I don't think their defense was playing the best. They were really allowing a couple of chances to get through. Especially Ivanovic was getting burnt by Oliver Burke a lot, but Sam Johnston was equal to the task for any shot that got off, and Sheffield weren't exactly threatening with any of their shots. But really decent performance by West Brom, probably the best they've looked all year. I still think they go down, but hey, decent performance. Probably gets Bilic another couple weeks in the job, but yeah, you got to be happy with that. For Sheffield, really disappointing game by them. This was probably their most winnable game of the year, and they honestly blew it. Going through the players, I don't think Keane Bryan took his chance. Not the greatest performance by him. I mean, you can't judge him too much. It was his debut. He had a one decent run forward, but not the greatest defensively. Sander Berge and Oliver Burke were probably the best players, but Sander Berge has really got to be switched on the whole game because he makes a couple of mistakes that you just shouldn't be making as a player of his quality. And he's probably going to be moving on after this year, and he has to start fixing that before he gets to a team where he really needs to be 100% all the time. Ramsdale was making a lot of good saves for Sheffield, but honestly, the saves that he was making, a lot of them were caused by his mistakes, like not going out in a corner, or I think he had a bad delivery from with his feet for one. Just not looking the greatest. Definitely a huge downgrade off of Dean Henderson. Like, we didn't think he was that much of a downgrade before, but now it's getting pretty clear it's huge. And really poor finishing today from Sheffield. In particular, Baldock was missing a lot of chances. He had a couple decent crosses, but missed too many sitters. And Oliver McBurney he's not Premier League level right now. He's missing so many chances. He's not even good in the air for how big he is. He doesn't win that many headers. They don't kick it up to him. I don't know why he's in there. Just bad performance by him. And this Sheffield team, I think I'm going to make a video on them in particular because it's bad all around. But just some things I noticed about them. Despite how organized in their reputation, they're really poor on 1v1 defending. Like, I feel like everybody on that team, except maybe Egan, can get beat really easily. And the set piece defending was really poor as well. That's kind of been a theme all year. I really want to go back and look at old film from Sheffield, see how important Dean Henderson was, and obviously they're missing O'Connell, but something's messed up. Maybe it's really bad luck, but jeez, and the attack is just devoid of ideas. Like, their best chances come from Oliver Burke just running at a guy and trying to dribble past him. Like, there's no movement. There's no real creativity. You just give the ball to Burke or Berge and just hope for the best. It's a really bad setup. Yeah, I think I want to talk about them in general because I have a lot of thoughts on Sheffield, but overall, really poor performance, and this could end up hurting them in the long run. Man of the match today for West Brom. I went back and forth between Pereira and Gallagher, but I was really impressed by Gallagher today, and so I'm going to give it to him. He was looking really good. Next game I want to talk about is Liverpool drawing Brighton and Hove Albion 1-1. Jeez, this was not exactly unexpected because Brighton's been playing some big teams really well, but them actually being able to take the chance, that's huge for them. So, starting off with Liverpool, they got off to a really decent start. They're making a couple of chances. I think they definitely would have won if they were able to put one of those away, just get Brighton down early, but weren't able to. A couple of goals were called off for offsides, but yeah, that happens. Main thing was their defense was really poor. Nico Williams and Nat Phillips, they really showed their inexperience today. It's like obviously they're young players. You kind of want to grade them on a curve, but just being honest, they didn't make a lot of mistakes. Nat Phillips really allowed Aaron Connolly to get through, but thankfully missed the shot for Liverpool, and Nico Williams gave away a penalty to Aaron Connolly, but thankfully for them, Mupé got it saved. They kind of set each other up and then screwed each other over. Um, then that was poor. The midfield really didn't do that well. I mean, nothing like really bad from Milner and Wijnaldum, but when it's a team like Liverpool going up against a team like Brighton, you would really expect to be more dominant, and they just weren't. Um, Attack, Minamino and Firmino weren't really looking that good. Bad day to be an Eno, and yeah, they weren't too good, but Jota and Salah continued to perform well. Jota, I don't know what got into him. He was not this good at Wolves. I mean, he's obviously got amazing players surrounding him now, but jeez, I don't even think this is just form. He's just insane right now. And Salah, he was looking good as he always does. Came off early, just not up full fitness yet, but another decent game by him. I thought Robertson was playing well as well at left back, but he did give away the penalty, but I don't think you can really blame him for that. That's a 50-50 call. But overall, yeah, not the performance you'd like to see out of Liverpool. Next, sorry, it's 2 a.m., but I just had a huge protein shake, so hopefully I'm good. Want to talk with Brighton, and I think the main thing is their finishing issues are still there. For their strikers, Connolly, he missed a real easy chance. Mupé missed a penalty. It's kind of poor to see that they're still there. I did mention each other setting each other up, but yeah, pretty unlucky to see that. Danny Welbeck won a penalty for them, but still not the greatest game, and I don't even think he knew he won the penalty when it happened. I thought their midfield was playing well. As I mentioned, they were dealing with Liverpool well. I thought Liverpool really weren't able to get the press established. Good for Basuma and Gross to do that. They were able to keep possession really well, so good there. Solly March didn't have his usual game, but I think he was carrying an injury. So that was pretty good, pretty decent performance given the circumstances. Same with Vaultman. Yeah, he was doing well defensively, doing as best he could. I don't think he's natural at a right wing back, but did well filling in for Lamptey. Defense, it wasn't the greatest. They were giving some chances away to Liverpool, but they're giving away some chances to Liverpool. Like, everybody does that. You can't hold that against them. Overall, it was just nice to see, even if the penalty wasn't really there, it was nice to see Brighton, play really well and get the points. Because they played United great, they played Chelsea great, weren't able to get any points away from it. It's really nice to see them, get the points from, the point, but get something out of it. And even if they didn't really deserve this, which I think they did, it just, penalty was a bit weird, but they deserved to get a point out of how well they've been playing. I think that made sense. Man of the match for this one, Diego Jota for Liverpool. Really nice finish. He was making a lot happen offensively. I don't think I've given one to him yet, so I just want to because he's been playing really well. Last game of Saturday, we had Man City beat Burnley 5-0. I love this game because Burnley's been pissing me off lately, but I say analysis and reaction, and this is more of the reaction part because his 5-0 curb stomp, you can't really analyze it. Tarkowski made a mistake and led to De Bruyne getting a ball. He found Mahrez for the first goal. There's a throw-in that Mahrez was able to pick up to get the second. De Bruyne had a really nice pass to Mendy for a third goal. Torres picked up a fourth, and Mahrez got a hat trick. I mean, what do you really expect? I think I predicted a 3 or 4-0 game. It exceeded my expectations, Man City, but yeah, just good result. I do want to say it was nice to see John Stones keep a clean sheet, and Mendy was playing really well, which I haven't seen in a while, so that's definitely a positive takeaway for Man City. For Burnley, I mean, defense wasn't really doing much. Attack couldn't get anything going. I feel bad for Peacock Farrell. It was his first game in the Premier League, and he just had to deal with that. Defense kind of hung him out to dry. Unlucky for him, but yeah, it's Man City. I mean, yeah, it's Man City against Burnley. You can't expect too much if you're Burnley. Man of the match, my rule, if you get a hat trick, you're man of the match. So Mahrez, man of the match. Lastly, I want to talk about the Friday game where Newcastle beat Crystal Palace 2-0. For Newcastle, it was I can't even say it was a good performance. It was really just a dead game until the last few minutes. Joe Elton, who couldn't finish all game, he had a really nice through ball into Callum Wilson, who was able to score. This is why you signed Callum Wilson. Just be because if you're a team where Newcastle is, where you have to play defensively, when you get those chances, you have to finish them. And shout out to Callum Wilson for being able to do that. And then right after the goal, Joe Elton was able to pick one up. Really decent. Weird to see if Joe Elton had a good game because he missed so many finishes, but he was able to come up with it. The defense was solid. They were giving away some chances, but Palace couldn't put them away. It's Crystal Palace without Wilfried Zaha, so they suck. And it was a pretty decent performance by Newcastle. I wasn't really impressed by anybody in the midfield. Defense, as I mentioned, they were good, but not great. Darlow didn't even have to make any huge saves. It was really a flat game that came alive at the end. For Crystal Palace, really poor game. I mean, you know that they're without Zaha, but you'd hope that they'd be able to do better. Bad defending. There were a lot of poor giveaways. I thought Scott Dan in particular was not doing well in defense. It was really weird to see Kouyaté back in the midfield. I mean, he performed well, but I would have liked to see a Kouyaté-Cahill partnership in the back. Patrick Van Aanholt was very frustrating today. He's a left back that thrives off getting forward, but man, he just wasn't being creative at all. He was screwing up all the set pieces. They need to get him off set piece duty. Eze has a free kick goal. They were able to score off an Eze corner. Keep Eze on the set piece duty. And Townsend, he started off the year well, but he has fallen off hard since. And Christian Benteke has no finishing ability, so that's just awful by him. Crystal Palace need to get Zaha back in there. They need to get Batshuayi going if they want to make anything of the season. I think that the bottom four teams are so far below everybody else right now. I don't think they're in any danger at the moment, but if somebody brings in Big Sam, then or another team gets form going, it could be a bottom two and not a bottom four, and Crystal Palace will have to be worried about it then. But just get Batshuayi going, get Zaha going. Hopefully you can have Eze and either a Townsend or a Schlupp step up, but it's not looking too good right now. Also, they dropped Jairo Riedewald. Why would they do that? He's been one of their better midfielders. I don't know. It's a frustrating team to watch with Roy Hodgson. I mean, he's going to keep them up, so that's all Crystal Palace want right now. But, yeah, overall, it's still frustrating. Man of the match, going back and forth between Joe Elton and Callum Wilson. Joe Elton didn't have the goal and assist, but he was missing so many, and Wilson was able to put away the goal, and that's what you brought him in to do. And yeah, I think I'm going to go with Callum Wilson for man of the match. So yeah, that's everything for the Friday and Saturday games. I want to mention a Vanderbilt women's soccer player made an appearance as a kicker for their football team, so shout out to her. I think that's kind of related. That's soccer. Good job by her. I'm forgetting her name. Her initials are SF, I think. So good job by her. This American Matt Hope made his debut in the Bundesliga. And yeah, that's about all I really want to talk about. Yeah. So that's it. And I'll see you.